what I want to show you in this video is how I use YouTube in-stream video ads to target content related to these people and using ads and drive more traffic to this very landing page. Hi there, this is Fei Wu from Fei's World Media, and in this video what I want to show you is how I promote my brand new documentary series that launched very recently as of November 6th. I'm going to show you quickly what the landing page looks like right here on screen. And Seth Godin was one of the people I interviewed, but there is more. So take a look. This is the full cast of people I interviewed, and what I want to show you in this video is how I use YouTube in-stream video ads to target content related to these people and using ads and drive more traffic to this very landing page. So what I want to do, step one, is to actually research these people to say and to find out if they have a presence on YouTube. If so, how heavy or what is the volume of search that people are actually looking for content related to these people. There's several areas and considerations you might have. One is obviously their name, their own brand. Actually, all of these people happen to be performers and entrepreneurs, so they all have their own brands. Their faces are the most identifiable, most recognizable part of their brand. But also think about their companies, what they're selling. So for example, Chris Voss is a gentleman, also an ex-FBI hostage negotiation expert. Related to Chris Voss, his name is out there, but also is his company called the Black Swan Group. Same thing with what I'm pointing here, Andy and Kevin Atherton, as well as Garcia Atherton. And they're Cirque du Soleil performers, so sometimes people who are interested in a circus performance and interested in Cirque du Soleil in particular might find videos or their documentary interesting as well. So that's just as an example. Before I show you the research, real quick, is my producer Herman actually put together these amazing 15 to about 20-second trailers. Maybe I'll show you one so you know what it looks like. So there we go. So this one is about 29 seconds. And then I want to show you what the end looks like. Right, so it's a short video. This may be on the longer side, actually. And what it does is showing you Fei's World docuseries, now available on both Amazon Prime, also Vimeo On Demand. And that's what we want people to see. And I'm going to test out for each of these guests. I'm going to target a substantial amount of videos, maybe around 30 to 50 different assets, depending on the person. And then I might choose to not allow visitors or viewers to skip the video. So they have to watch the video all the way through the end so that they're guaranteed to be exposed to the content, as you have seen on this page. And once they click on the video, click on the call to action, what they'll be directed to is the landing page you just saw. So as I'm talking about this, I think whether I allow them to skip the video or not is dependent on the length. I mean, at 29 seconds, you might lose people pretty easily. So we'll see. Part of the strategy here is to be able to set up a set of or groups of ads within Google Ads, but targeting YouTube in-stream video. And then we want to do that for 30 days because Google Ads will continue to optimize the performance of these ads. And what Herman and I would like to do is go back in on a weekly basis and look at the videos that are performing really well, the ones that are not really performing well or at all, so we can get rid of those videos and not waste time and money on them and continue to optimize on our end as well. So I hope that helps, and let's get started with the research. I think the research tool that can be very interesting is, again, TubeBuddy, which I'll link below. We have a couple of videos, instructional tutorials on how to use them, how to use and kind of maximize the kind of effect of TubeBuddy. But one thing that I like a lot is Launch Keyword Explorer. So first, for example, using Seth Godin, surprisingly, Seth Godin hasn't been searched a lot here on YouTube, but everything is relative. Number of videos in search results, again, that's pretty substantial. For example, that compared to, Fei's World, which also hasn't been searched for a ton of times. But as you can see, there's considered fair amount, but the search results are only, less than 500. So there we go. Seth Godin. Not only that, let's look at Seth Godin again. Here you can see what's related as video search results. So we can see Seth Godin TED, not surprising. He has TED Talks from, I think, the 90s even, or early 2000. Seth Godin is known for marketing. He wrote a book named Lynchpin, and he has audiobooks. He talks about the word tribes and enrollment a lot. Purple Cow is one of the most successful books he has written. And The Dip, Vaynerchuk, really interesting. Tags are down here. All right, so it looks like we're going to see quite a number of different types of content out there as well. So let's take a look at for someone like Chris Voss. I know that Chris Voss also has been searched a fair number on YouTube. So search results almost comparable to Seth Godin, 279,000. A number of searches per month, it's 70,000. Seth Godin's search per month is higher, but Chris Voss is more targeted because his content is all about negotiation, and his book Never Split the Difference. All right, now let's look at someone like Dory Clark. Probably the results will be very different. So you can see the number of videos in search results, 10,000, and so a lot less, let's say, compared to Chris Voss and Seth Godin. But the searches per month is relatively high still. All right, now let's go to Sarah Cooper. Now, this name is really common, so it's possible that it's not the same Sarah Cooper we're talking about. As you can see, it's already possibly pulling in anybody whose name is Sarah Cooper. But if we, comedian is so she does comedy and also stand-up. So once we kind of dial in a bit more, you can see the search results is now, has come down quite a bit. So that's Sarah Cooper. Let's go for another one. Garcia has a very significant following on Instagram, over 208,000 at this point, late 2019. But interestingly enough, her name isn't searched as much on YouTube. I think some of this is really depending on channel, and also to keep in mind, Garcia's last name or family name is an Atherton before her marriage to Andy. So a little tricky when your name is kind of split into different search terms. Let's find one more. I want to find someone whose name is a little bit on the more unusual side. So Meg Ebling, who is the founder of Not Impossible. So his search results, not a whole lot, about 2,400. And I Writer, Parkinson's, great. So I love the fact that Mick's name is somewhat, different, and that give us like more targeted search results. And we also have people we interview that I'm not entirely sure they're probably not as searchable on YouTube. I'm going to just pull one example, either Barry Alexander or Cosmo Bono. You know what? So Barry Alexander, and he is really into music, so none of these search results would be relevant to him. But so this is, if I search for opera, he was an opera singer many, many years ago. But as you can see, the related results here is very limited. So let's see, Cosmo Buono, piano. That's perfect, because that's our Cosmo right there, who's a pianist. And wow, so number of videos and search results, that is not insignificant. So again, no related video search results. So I get an idea. The point of this exercise is to see that who we want to focus on first, second, and third. We obviously love our guests equally, but they have different presence on different channels, and we want to be able to maximize here on YouTube. Instead of targeting someone like Barry Alexander and Cosmo Bono on YouTube, we're maybe better off somewhere else, such as Facebook. So I really want to kind of strategically target the guests based on what we're talking about in terms of social media. And I want to take this opportunity to walk you guys through an example of how I set up a campaign, but also the strategies that I use to make sure that, number one, the ad is approved ASAP. 2, that the ad is displayed in a competitive position. And number 1, getting reviewed. It's really important because somehow, it takes Google Ads oftentimes to a day, 2 days, sometimes even up to 5 days to review these ads. So for those of you who have very time sensitive ads and initiatives and campaigns you're working on, I mean, these methods are going to be very helpful. So the interface of Google Ads for beginners can be very confusing. So number one, a lot of you guys are thinking about making copies of ads so you can tweak small things such as the people you're targeting, like demographic information, or even specific video you want to use for a similar approach of an ad. So what I noticed is the moment you change the type of the ad, so for example, I'm going to click on Chris Voss. As you can see, I have two sets of campaigns going on. One is called 15-second non-skippable because YouTube in-stream ads only allows you to create non-skippable ads if it's within 7 seconds to 15 seconds. So basically 15 seconds or less, right? But it's more than 7 seconds. That's one type of ads. Now you can also have a teaser much longer than that. You can have something obviously longer than 15 seconds, a minute or longer. For us, these full teasers, what we call full teasers for the documentary, are often, a lot less than a minute, usually hovering around like 20 seconds to 30 seconds long. So those don't qualify for non-skippable. Therefore, Google Ads is basically forcing me to put them into two different campaigns because they're considered as two different categories. Now I want to show you basically how to set up one 15-second ads and then one full-on ads very quickly, because a trick you can do is number one, go to all campaigns. And this is where the navigation gets crazy and confusing. Obviously, I recommend you set up different campaigns if the campaigns are of different purpose. For example, yes, even though the purpose of us setting up these ads is to promote the docuseries or the Face World documentary, but I do want to consider and look at campaigns differently for different guests I interviewed in the documentary. Therefore, for me, instead of just setting up a whole campaign of different ads, I decided to kind of set them up based on the guests I've interviewed, and also because for each guest, the demographic and targets is going to be very different. Perhaps in the future, I'll find a better way to do it. Another reason before I get started is you're wondering, why don't we just combine as much as possible? Well, because Google Ads actually gives you the visibility and the option right here under video campaign, and you can literally look through everything, including 15-second skippable ads as well as non-skippable ads, everything all at once. So you do have this dashboard view as opposed to forcing yourself into a very narrow view when you set up campaigns. So let's get started. To add a new campaign, in this case for me, I'm going to create one skippable and one non-skippable for a guest named Mick Ebling, who's an inventor. Really interesting video here. So in order to do that, I need to click on all campaigns here. Then I'm going to go to the second column here and click on campaigns with this little house icon. Now, you really need to do this and not start anywhere else. I know it's a little frustrating. You almost feel like there should be a clear indicator to show you that path, but unfortunately there isn't. So now next you're going to click on add a campaign. Now you have two options. One is to start a brand new campaign. I'll show you real quick. When you click on brand new, now you're being exposed to all these options. My personal favorite one is actually the last one, create a campaign without a goals guidance. So in other words, this one is for people who have more experience and less restricted with what you need to do, what you can do. So I started there, but since I already did and have a separate video to show you exactly how to do that to create in-stream YouTube videos, so I will cancel out of this and show you how I can leverage existing campaigns and save so much time. And so let's go ahead and click the plus sign again. I'm going to click on load campaign settings. Now it's going to pull up all these campaigns I've once created. So if I want to create a full teaser for Mick Ebling, I can choose any of these right now, like Atherton's, Chris Voss, or whatever. So I'm going to just create Chris Voss. And because it's full teaser, I know for sure that this one is not for non-skippable, right? It has to be skippable because it's longer. So in campaign name, I'm going to just change this to Mick Ebling. And the full teaser is just a reminder for me to easily identify this as a skippable campaign, daily budget, when you start out, it's really crucial that you keep this number relatively high. And there are ways to get around not having Google Ads charge you $1 million, because it's never going to be really the maximum amount of dollar that you're charging. When you get started, you can keep it at 5, you can keep it at 10, and the second day, the third day, you can come back in and change that. So for right now, for the demonstration, I would say $5 to $10 is safe. And I usually do is I run an ad for about a month. That's also something that it's important to know, that if you run an ad for 1, 2, 3 days, Google will not have the time to optimize that. So you actually end up paying a lot within the first 3 days. The optimization happens beyond that. Depending on the campaign, we've seen success after about a week, and really starting into like the end of the first week and into the second week, you see optimization happening. But for the purpose of this, and for a lot of you guys thinking about spending a ton of money, just you can, set an end date at that. So don't worry about the weekly estimates here. 10 billion definitely sounds like a lot, but very quickly, since I'm setting up in-stream video, it will narrow down this number here significantly. Now the networks, if I'm doing in-stream, what you need to select is YouTube videos here. And language, I keep it at English. Location, I keep it at United States and Canada. That's where Mick is most well known. But what you can do is enter specific locations here as well, like US, UK, Brazil, whatever you need to do there. Inventory, I'll keep that the same. And here I need to make sure that I change the ad group name to Mick Ebling. And this is again a full teaser. Demographic, this is kind of interesting. I used to leave this alone, but sometimes because you learn a lot more as you run more of these ads. I notice the core of my audience is usually hovering around age 25 to 44. However, what's interesting about FaceWorld, right? You need to run these tests because these are not wild guesses. You'll never guess it right. So interestingly enough, age group between 45 to 55, sometimes not really super hot for us, but somehow it skips a generation. From 55 to 64, we regain an audience. Again, these right now are what I know about my general audience, but I don't know how Mick Ebling's video is going to resonate with them specifically. Here, you can also select household income, for example. You can choose like top 20%, eliminate the rest of them. This is really depending on the video. If it's a music video, in our case it's a documentary video, or if you're trying to sell a specific product, you definitely want to pull that data about your product. And here underneath the audience, it gets pretty crazy because you have options to really narrow in. Like, for example, I just created the ads for the Atherton twins, and I know that people who love them are the ones who go to Broadway, who buy a lot of theater tickets, performing arts tickets. You can use these options instead of choosing specific YouTube videos, which I'll show you in a moment. But you can choose these interest groups. And you notice, like, as I'm selecting certain things, the impressions from 10 billion already came down to 830 million. Again, that's still very high. Keywords can be kind of interesting as well. Mick Ebling is not highly searchable here on YouTube. You see these numbers jumped way down. So impressions is going to be 30,000. I'm not using these options. I'm just giving you ideas of what you can do here. Another idea here is Mick is the creator of Not Impossible Labs. So Not Impossible. Hopefully that will take me to the Not Impossible Labs here. So here, look, you can actually use a website, hit enter, and it will give you will actually give you keyword ideas from a certain websites. So if you use TED and hit enter, now it's going to really give you can actually just select, as you click the plus signs, as you can see, it's adding all these keywords to the left-hand side. This is not my strategy, but I think these are so powerful, so I want to demonstrate what you can do here. Sometimes it's a good idea to try different things as opposed to limiting yourself with a single strategy. So again, topics, you can narrow down here. I'll leave all that alone. I'll show you very quickly the placements that I prefer. So placements will basically pinpoint the video that you create to very specific YouTube channels and specific YouTube videos. So here I'm going to say Mick Ebling. He's actually a pretty niche guy. So TED Talk, he's there. So for me, I'm not going to choose TED Talk because it's too broad. I don't want to all of a sudden target a channel with, see here, 145,000 videos, just not specific enough. So instead, I'm going to go into YouTube videos. There are 500 videos. So simply I'm going to just click down anything related to Mick Ebling. Look, this one's by Intel. Look inside Mick Ebling. Huge, a lot of views here. Some of the videos are more, they have more modest views, 7, even 100 views. You don't really know. And the thing is, you can just go ahead and just pick these videos and you're going to find out in a week's time what Google Ads end up, optimizing for these videos. So you really don't have to guess or panic because it's going to optimize based on the best performing videos. I don't know what that is. Probably should get rid of it. Mick Ebling. So as I'm doing this, I want to be a little more intentional. Now, you don't have to only target Mick Ebling because he is someone that I interviewed on my show. So I definitely want to target as much as possible his face before he appears in a different video. But I could also target something like Not Impossible Labs. I'm going to see what I find with Not Impossible here. All right. Music, Not Impossible. So these are getting some of these things. Not Impossible Lab is another one. Looks like a lot of the videos I targeted are already there. Based on 50 selections, I feel pretty happy about it. You can, again, over here, get rid of them if you need to. Now I'm going to do a maximum CPV, which is how much I'm willing to pay, the maximum amount I'm willing to pay for, let's see, cost per view. Obviously, Google Ads is going to optimize way more than that. So you're not going to be paying $5 for a single click or single view. These are top bid adjustment. Doesn't really matter at this point. So now all of this is done. So let me double check. Full teaser. So I'm going to go to my YouTube channel where I uploaded the video and I save it as unlisted. So right here in Mick Ebling, unlisted, I'm going to grab this link here, come back in, scroll all the way down. So say create your video. So this is the video I want to use and I want to choose skippable in-stream ad. I'm going to come to, this is my documentary landing page where people can get all the information they need. I'm going to copy the URL here, everything else the same. Ad name, I'm going to say Mick Ebling. This is the full teaser. This is just for indication for yourself. Click on create campaign. Everything looks good. Click create again. Now you will notice that right here to the left-hand side, Mick Ebling full teaser is added. That's all I need to do. And in order to add another 15-second non-skippable video or ad, unfortunately, I have to start that campaign because I cannot add a non-skippable ad to a skippable ad campaign as a group. I find that to be slightly inconvenient, but I also get it. If you guys know a better way to do it, please let me know. So what's going to happen next is you can see that this ad, everything needs approval. So if you click on Mick Ebling ad here, you will see the status is now under review. And again, if you increase the CPV, if you increase your daily spend, it's going to send you through the approval much more quickly. It will be prioritized. So hope you find this helpful. Let me know your feedback and all the tips and tricks that you had. And moving forward, I'm going to show you live how I optimize this long list of ads, meaning how I'm tweaking it. I'm going to talk about how often I do it and exactly how step by step I tweak and, the ads I need to get rid of, the ads that perform really well I want to surface and really focus on, and how I change the CPVs and the costs per day and, with a maximum CPV that I adjust to keep spending the least amount of money I can for the largest exposure. So coming up, thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I love having you here and let's grow together. Peace.